Hi everybody, another video of a ruler and Dublin, Blarney, our guests, as always, they're fed, they're gonna be quiet, right puppies? Yeah, good puppies. Okay, let's get started. Like romper room. So these are the fabrics I'm gonna work with. This is the heart fabric, and I'm going to show you how to use the clipper. This is a block, and I do these with the leftovers. So that's what we're starting. I'm going to sash it with the yellow, and then I'm going to bind it with the blue. Okay, so I'm just going to set that aside. Okay, so what we're showing today is the folded corner clipper. I'm using the extra large. It's by Creative Grids. This one is the regular size one, and it will work for the quilt that I'm going to show you and the heart. It's just big enough. So, but there are some other things that I'll show you that this one worked better. And then with always the Creative Grids comes some great instructions. So these are the few. You can do the cornered rectangle, the flying geese, the snowball, diamond and square, half square triangles, and it has how to use it. And they also have the scan if you want to see their videos too. So always a great resource. And then I always keep these in a folder. So there's all my, right, so I know where they are, because they are a good resource. Okay, so what this does is that whenever you're doing what I mean by a folded corner is when you sew something onto a corner like this. So you're just giving it a little corner on there. So this is what this ruler does. So I'm starting with a 10-inch here, 10-inch square for the heart. Okay, so there's my 10-inch square. And then for every heart, I need 2 5-inch squares, 2 2.5-inch squares, and 2 2-inch squares. Okay, and I'm doing 2 colors, so that when the hearts are next to each other, there's alternating. So those are my other pinks. So that is going to make one heart. Okay. So the first thing we do, is we cut this in half. So if you weren't using 10-inch squares, you could use 5-inch strips by 10. So 5 by 10. And we're just going to cut this in half like this. Okay. And I really like my rotating mat for this. So once these are cut, I'm going to put this one on here like this. This is important. I like to lay it out. This is directional, so I have it going the right way. But when you're cutting these, you want to make sure that when you're cutting them, this is going to go like this, and this is going to go like this, so that you get the right angle. So, okay, so just be aware of that. And then the big 2.5 ones are going to go in the top corners here. And then these ones are going to go in the corners here. So you can see when I'm done, that's half of a heart, like that. Okay, take it. So that's going to be 1/2. So this is a little bit smaller. So that's a 2-inch, 2.5, and the 5-inch. And then what you want to do is I'm gonna keep it this way because you can see. So when you have that laid out and nice and flat on that, you want to cut this corner off. Okay, so the trick here is when you do this, don't lay it on this part that you're cutting off. You want to lay it on the part that you're leaving. So, and I also like doing it like this and then I actually take my whole mat over to my sewing machine, so I'm not moving these. So that's one. So right, like I want that corner cut off, and then I want this corner cut off. And you can see I line that up in the corner and that in the corner. So there they're sitting. And then I'm just gonna do this. And then I'm leaving these on my cutting mat because I'm gonna sew them and use them for something else. And then this one, I want this corner. So I'm gonna lay this out like this. Right in the corner there and right in the corner there. And then I'm gonna cut that like that. So you can see my heart's working out. And then this one, this is a corner I want to cut off, and these are 2.5, so this is going to line up with a 2.5, 2.5. I just want to show you this one is just big enough. So that's the regular size, and that's just going to work. So if you go any bigger, you'll need the extra large. So I'm just going to cut this. And then actually, because I want this corner cut off here, I'm just going to keep it like this and cut like that. And that one's 2 inches, you can see. So right in the corner. And then I would rotate my mat, because now I want these ones cut off, right, and that one. So I'm going to use a 2 inch there. And 2 inch, 2.5 in this corner. Now, if you really don't mind sewing with small things, you can keep these triangles and sew them. They are getting pretty small, so I actually don't. But these ones I definitely keep. So you can already see that this is looking really well, like a heart. So I actually just take this to my sewing machine. That's another nice thing about using my rotating mat. And then I'm going to sew from this corner to this corner. Okay. If you do it wrong, by wrong I mean that you put this here. So instead of putting it on top, I put it where I think I want to cut my triangle, like I want to cut this. See, what happens is you're going to line this up and it's not going to be right. So if these were like this, I'd go like this. And now I've cut it off too much, and it's going to have a weird corner. So it looks like, let's bring it over here. So it looks like that. And then I can sew that, but look how this is. Too small to sew back there, right? So it doesn't work. So make sure the corner that you don't want is where your ruler isn't. Okay. So not here, it has to be here, and this is the discard. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to move this. I'll finish that one later. And this is what we're gonna have. So now we have these like this. They're all sewn. I also want to show you that when I do my 1/4 inch, when I line my foot up to sew this, it looks slightly bigger than a 1/4 inch from that point on my foot. It's actually right on, and then here, the important part is that when you start right on that corner and then end right on that corner. And then do as perfect as a 1/4 inch as you can. But that's really important so that you're getting that nice point at the bottom and there. Okay, so I've sewed those on. I'm going to go press these. And when I press these, what I do is I press the pink on this side all to one side. And then I press this one, I press these to here. So to the light on that one and to the dark. And then that way when I flip them over, these are going to butt up really nicely. So let's just bring this over and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so here's, and if you do that consistently too, if you're not putting sashing in the middle, then your next heart will also bump up nicely to this one for the seams. So I'm just going to give it a little press. And I'm going to press these flat. Flat. If I give this a nice press flat, then they will press flatter. And then I'm going to use the weight of my iron for this one. Okay, and then this one. My cameraman just winked at me. Okay, and then, so these are pressed towards the pink, but these ones I'm going to press towards the white. Okay, and then okay, nice and flat. Okay, and then if you just come over here, I'll show you what I mean by, so these ones are pressed to the white and these are pressed to the pink. So when I line these up, these are going to butt up really nicely. So I can just move this and whoop. So, and then that one too, when I come to this corner, then that one butts up really nicely. And this one, so what we have, we're just going to sew down the middle. And so this is what I mean by alternating. And then if I'm joining these two without the sashing, because they are also pressed, always the left side I did one way, then they'll butt up nicely there too. So if I decide not to sash them, I can just have the hearts like that. Okay. Oh. Then you can see that I sewed this like this. There's my 1/4 inch. These are all butted up nicely there, right in the corner there. Okay. And when you press things open, there are certain times you want to press open, absolutely. But see, when I press to one side or the other, I always get that nice butt that keeps the join perfect. So we just want to press this seam flat. And then also too, if you're not putting sashing between, you might want to press these one way and so this heart going this way, but the light pink pressing it that way. So then when you join these in the rows, that they're also going in different directions and they line up nicely. Now, isn't that nice? Look at that. Very nice, eh? So there's one heart. Yep. And 2 hearts. So that's what that, and by alternating, you're going to have these in between. And now you can do a whole quilt. You can do the sashing in the middle. This yellow looks spectacular with it. Right? A little sashing in the middle. Or if you're doing a table runner, I would actually alternate the directions, right? Have 1, 1, 1. So nice blocks. These finish 9.5 by 10, so they're not square. Very sweet. Now I have these leftover triangles and favorite ruler buried here somewhere, right here. Slotted trimmer. So I have a couple sizes, 3 different sizes. So all I did was go through my sizes and find out which one fits. And now before I press them, doesn't matter what these are left over, and I can even trim them smaller for whatever reason I might want them smaller, but I can fit this one right like that. So I'm going to line up that dotted line on my sewing line we have another video on this. And then I'm just gonna go like this and like this and do the little whoop and a little whoop. Bye-bye dog ears. Don't listen, puppies. Now, then I do this one. Again, I can fit it on here. This is such a great ruler too. Okay. Now I'm just going to press these to the paint. And now I have blocks. As you can see, I have some leftover. I do that with all my leftovers, and I can create whatever I like. Maybe I'll do this. Right? I can start making things, or I might have them all going this way. So out of these, I'll get 2 squares. Nice, eh? So no waste there. If you're really frugal or don't mind tiny stuff, you can do the tiny squares. That's not me. So some of the other things that you can do with this is you can, this is really sweet fabric too. So you can take this, I've done 2 different sizes squares, but you can see how that's going to look there. That's a snowball when you do the 4 corners, but typically the corners are smaller in a snowball. So any size square, just depends what you want to frame. So if you have a feature fabric you want to do, or you can do this one. This one is where the bigger ruler works, is because I want to sew a square onto there. So what I want to do is I want to take my big triangle. I'm going to try to do it your way. Actually, I think Mike's going to have to come this way. So what I want to do, you want to find out what size. Okay, let's see. So here is, I want to do that. Nope. So you gotta have this lined up like this. So you're gonna see that there. And that's what I would cut off right there. So see where the smaller ruler, where is it? Is not gonna be able to do that lining up all the way down. So when you're doing a block like this, now I can take this and cut this off. Okay. Now you can see this is about a 4-inch triangle, and if you make, I just make a 5.5 inch or 4.5 inch, and then I sew it on here, and then I can just trim it. So this just gets flipped up like that, and then I can trim it down. I'm gonna even use this to trim it down by lining those up there. There's the square, there's the square. And then I'm just going to trim that and that. So see how that was nice to leave that 1/4 inch, and that's where the bigger one comes in. So if I want to do another one, I'm just going to go to the next size, and I'm going to run that line again into the middle square, line up that 1/4 into that seam, and I'm going to cut there, and that's going to leave me enough and get that perfect point. So that goes for something like this. That's what it'll look like in the end. And then this is just another sample of just doing the corners. Okay, so anything that you want to feature in the middle, that works out great with this ruler. Now I just want to show you this really cute. So this pattern is X marks the spot. It uses a layer cake, but the blocks are the same size. So all I did was I used charms. So there's 42 charms, and then I just divided the amounts by a quarter. So there's the block. So on this block, I used the clipper, and that's where the small one will work just fine. So you can use this one for these. It's great. It's a good size. And then these all go to create that X. So cute little baby quilt. This is the nautical line of fabric. And there's that yellow again. And then on the back I used the stars. And then I used my Bernina 72 foot to do the curves here. Actually, I can grab it and show it to you. One sec. This was a nice size to work with. So I'm using my 72. Oh, wait. So there's my 72 foot. And then all I did was line these up, right? So that was my middle, and this actually worked out. So, you know, if you're doing something else, you could use these, but this is the one I used, and I could set it right there. I did mark the center, and I just lined it up there, and then quilt. And then you just rotate this there and go long. So I did start in the middle, but you can actually just go a row down and then down, and you're just going down, and then do another row going this way and this way. And this is a variegated thread by Metler on the big spools, so that's a great color, really nice. So that's X marks the spot. Yep. So if you really want to do a big one, a layer cake is perfect for that. And that's that one. Sweet, eh? It's actually a great baby quilt. Okay, so that is a couple of rulers there. The extra large folded corner clipper, the regular size one. Then we also used the slotted trimmer again, so if you have that, that's a great one. And then we used our ruler foot with the Bernina ruler. Hey, okay, thanks everybody. Have fun. Happy Valentine's Day. Not quite yet.